going to read a quote from Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I said that wrong. Not really good with Russian. He says this ideology that is what gives evil doing its long sought justification and gives the evildoer the necessary steadfastness and determination. It's a social theory which helps to make his act seem good instead of bad in his own and others' eyes, so that he won't hear reproaches or curses, but will receive the praise and I've been, maybe you haven't, but I have been somewhat befuddled is the word that I'm going to use. I'm not sure that you'll understand that. It just means just totally confused by some of the behavior that we see throughout our land, and the way that people treat each other. And yet, some of the things people say, I don't care who the leader is on both sides, and how people just so receptively receive this and even act as if it's proper. I just wonder, I do, if perhaps we haven't, and I say we inclusively, I'm talking just in a general term, somehow embraced a form of evil, just seeking to fit in, disagree with something and stating it in such a way as to belittle another person and dehumanize them, as we're seeing so often in our nation, not just on the right and not just on the left, but in both arenas, where people are just simply dehumanized as if their life is of little or no consequence and has little or no value compared to this higher ideology that a person has. It's somewhat troubling to me, but I want you to think about that aspect of evil today, just quickly. Jesus spoke to the Pharisees in in John chapter 5, in verse 43, and he said, look, how can you receive what I'm saying? Because you're more concerned about the praise of men than you are the glory of God. He said something very similar, or actually John did in John 12 and verse 43, when speaking of those that believed in Jesus, but they couldn't say it because it would have affected their reputation, basically, is what the verse says. If we're so concerned about what others think of us, it ultimately will be harmful to the gospel of Christ. You remember the story of Ananias and Sapphira. Then you say, well, they lied about an offering. That's not really all it was. They were looking to receive recognition in the eyes of people through deceit. And God was very clear in the beginning of the church that he wasn't going to allow this. The devil loves it when we look to be, quote unquote, part of a crowd, rather than just in humility serving our God. And our relationship to others comes from the respect that we have for them because of the love that he's imparted to our heart. I woke up last night and this thought just kept coming back to me, almost as if, this may sound strange to you, but as if I was a person out in the elements and God himself just covered me with a blanket of his loving mercy. And I thought of people in my life that I've been praying for, and I began to ask God just to cover them with a blanket of your loving mercy. I would so often, when I was thinking of these people, I would think of all the things that they're doing and ask God to take them out of that. I think about, for example, the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15, and I would make sure that God knew that he was eating with the swine and all the bad things that he was doing. He was wasting the wealth on riotous living. I could bring it all up. But the Father didn't. He just clothed him with the mantle of his loving mercy. I think sometimes the way that we look at people, even those that we strongly disagree with, pointing out the error of their ways oftentimes is not going to, doesn't mean we agree with it. It doesn't mean that we condone it. It doesn't mean that we can't be and speak the truth in love in Ephesians 4:15. But oftentimes the one thing that they just simply can't do is deal with the love of God when it's expressed to them and they know they don't deserve it. Isn't that what won you to Christ? I know it's what won me to Christ. I knew I didn't deserve it, and I still don't. And yet he's been merciful, and he's loved me. And I believe that's the only way we're ever going to win anyone, truly win anyone, to the cause of Christ, is to show them something that is, as we said last Sunday, eternal, beyond anything we can imagine, beyond anything we'll ever know. Anything we know about them, anything we know about ourselves, anything we know about what was done, it has to be bigger than all that, because it is God expressed on the cross for us in our stead. It has to be. And it is for everyone, as it was for you and I, or you and me. I want to get my English grammar straight here. It was for I. It should be anyway. Till next time, friends, God bless you.